And last year was your chance for sure, but this might actually be your real chance with no real AL competition in front of you. They have to go all in, and they have two positions. For once, pitching is not really a need, but they have two position players that they really need to replace come trade deadline time.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. A rare off day yesterday for the Yankees, and they'll get ready for a good test against Cleveland.
Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, and hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. On today's show, we're previewing the series between the Yankees and the Guardians, and we're taking a look around the league because it's the beginning of June already, and we're getting into not the dog days of summer, but it's almost technically summer, and we're almost into like the main part of the baseball season. So we're going to see how everyone else is doing around the league. But first, more discussion about Yankees and Dodgers, because it was a big series over the weekend, and the Yankees didn't have that great a showing.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of thought going into this series, especially around the national baseball landscape, that this would be a good litmus test for the Yankees to really show where they're at. And it does kind of feel like the Dodgers are just kind of slowly meandering through the season until the playoffs start. And I'll tell you this, Stacey, they've earned the right to feel that way. They have. They've got 2 World Series in the last 5 years, and they've been a dominant team that's always making playoff runs in baseball. They've earned the right to feel that way about the regular season. The Yankees have not. The Yankees have been to 1 World Series in the last 20 years, and it's been, behind a couple of ALCS appearances. And let's be real, a lot. What?
2 World Series in the last 20 years. They've won one World Series.
Yeah, 2009. Yeah, if they count the one that they've won, but they
do that again.
Yeah. Well, I don't really care, but
no, but we don't want people in the comments saying.
Go ahead. I don't give a shit, but whatever. Yeah. Let's see. Where do I want to go? Yankees have been to 2 World Series in the last 20 years, and they only won one of them. And the Dodgers have won 2 World Series in the last 10 years now. So the Dodgers have had the right to feel that way about the regular season. And let's be real, when it comes to the Yankees postseason, in the last couple of years, it's been a lot of ALCS appearances, but they couldn't get past the Houston team. And the only reason they're going to get past them now is because Houston kind of fell apart. The Yankees never took them down. So when I look at the way that both of these teams view the regular season, I think it's very different. The Dodgers are also very, very, very injured, Stacey. I mean, the Yankees, they did get a nice win off Yamamoto, but they didn't face nearly the Dodgers' top staff at all. Well, I mean, Dodgers have 15 guys on the IL right now that are in their pitching staff. So these two teams are in very different places, it feels. And I do think coming into this series, the Yankees thought that they were in a very similar place to LA. And I think they were proven that they're really not. And it was a 2 out of 3 series win for the Dodgers, but they really beat up on the Yankees throughout this entire series. And I wonder how you feel, because I think this series should let them know it's time to put the foot on the gas and really go after it this come trade deadline, because this is your chance. And last year was your chance for sure, but this might actually be your real chance with no real AL competition in front of you. They have to go all in, and they have two positions. For once, pitching is not really a need, but they have two position players that they really need to replace come trade deadline time.
I don't agree with the Dodgers meandering. The Dodgers, like you said, have a lot of injuries. They don't have Mookie Betts didn't play. They don't have Tyler Glass now. They don't have Blake Snell. They're pitching Landon Knack, who pitched well and held the Yankees down, because what does he have to lose? He was just like, okay, they're going to put me in here.
You're right. Meandering might not be the right phrase. I just think the Dodgers kind of know where they're going to be. Like their talking points around their media members are not as crazy about, oh, well, what's going to happen with the Dodgers and stuff, because they're going to be in the postseason. Their storyline doesn't count until the postseason starts, and the Yankees too. But it just feels different with the Dodgers and the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they outclassed them that much. I think that there were special circumstances in both those games. You didn't expect Max Fried to give up 6 runs, right? Going into that matchup, going into that series, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were thinking, okay, Max Fried, cool. We're going to see a good game. He had his bad start, his one bad start of the year so far on May 30th. Then you have poor Will Warren, who had been pitching so well over the last 2 weeks, having one of the worst starts of his young career. There were special circumstances. I'm not going to say that the Dodgers aren't good. They are, but I'm not going to say that they're a class above the Yankees in the position that they are right now. When all those guys come back and they're all healthy and Shohei Ohtani is pitching again, of course, they're going to be a class above the Yankees. I just think that it was just, I don't know what the hell happened this weekend. I really don't. But
I think somehow Dave Roberts managed circles around Aaron Boone, and I don't think Dave Roberts is known as this genius manager either. It's not like Bobby Cox is in that.
We saw that in the World Series too.
I know, which is crazy because what to me is it's proving is they qualify both of these managers as analytical guys and binder guys. Well, that means the Dodgers binder is just better than the Yankees binder because he managed circles around Aaron Boone. I disagree though. I think this is a telling series from LA. I mean, one of these games ended 18-2. You give 18 runs in a game. And by the way, in that 18-2 game, the only Yankee who showed up in that game was Aaron Judge. He had both RBIs, both 2 home runs in that game. That to me is concerning. And then, I mean, I don't want to make too big of a deal of the Max Fried thing because he was going to have a bad start at some point. So I don't think it's too big of a deal. But they did beat up on your best pitcher, on your ace. They did put up a 6 spot against him with the compromised team.
But they're not beating up on everyone. Right?
No, that's my point. I think they're kind of like cruising through the regular season right now, but they're cruising. They have the same record as the Yankees, and they're having an IL season from hell pretty much. I mean, everyone's hurt on their team. That to me is telling because the Yankees are having this season with a player who's already got the AL MVP locked up, with a 37-year-old who's hitting better than he's ever hit in his career. There's a lot of Ben Rice, who wasn't supposed to be a full-time major leaguer, having an outstanding year, and the Yankees are having that record. And the Dodgers record is about the same thing with all of their injuries lined up. It's just, I think the Dodgers are a way better team than them.
The 2019 Yankees won 103 games with a lot of injuries. Were they a class above everyone else? No, they weren't. But that season to me remains an anomaly. I don't think you don't see a lot of years like that. That Yankee team should have won like 88 games. The fact that they won the amount of games they won is still a mystery, and I think will always be a mystery to people. I do want to say this though. The point in going all in, like to me, you're going to have to replace DJ LeMahieu's position. He's not a full-time major leaguer. He just, I mean, but he might be a nice 4 hits.
He might be a nice bench piece, but he's not a full-timer. And I don't think, from what I've seen so far, and I want him to get his opportunity, don't get me wrong, but I don't think Peraza is going to be on this roster in the postseason. It's just he's not putting it together along. Serves his opportunity. But to me, there's going to be 2 position pieces that you're going to need to fill at the deadline. And to me, you have to go all in on the best possible player you can find in those positions, because I'll put it this way. If we both at least, now the class argument is one thing, we both acknowledge the Dodgers are a better team at full strength than the Yankees are.
Of course.
I don't think there's much of an argument for that.
They're a better team than everyone at full strength.
Completely agree. So, but to me, the Dodgers roster didn't improve that much from last year. And the Yankees, you could make a legitimate point, should have been going back to LA up 3-2. Because that 5th inning, it'll haunt you in your nightmares for the rest of your life or until the Yankees win again. That is also an anomaly. That doesn't happen every single year. It doesn't happen rarely ever. So that 5th inning is an anomaly. And you know what? It's been proven since by seeing Tim Hill pitch against Freddie Freeman. Yankees should have won game 1. They should have. So the Yankees should have against, by the way, a fully healthy Los Angeles team without Ohtani pitching, but a fully healthy Los Angeles team should have, because remember, Ohtani didn't get hurt until later on in that series. They should have went back to LA up 3-2. And they had a legitimate chance of winning that World Series and didn't. So, and to me, look around the American League. We'll go over it in the next segment. Is there anybody in the American League the Yankees shouldn't beat? Is Detroit good? Absolutely. Is there anyone they shouldn't beat?
No.
The Yankees should be in the World Series this year. They should. They should win the AL pennant. They're rightfully favorites. They should be favorites. No one in the division is going to presumptively catch them unless someone catches fire. They should be in the World Series. And if you think your opponent's going to be the Dodgers, which I don't see anyone in the National League catching them off guard unless the Dodgers' injuries are the Dodgers. None of their injuries are
unless
season-ending
something weird happens in the playoffs, because the best team doesn't always win. So unless something weird happens in a round, because how many times did all those Dodger teams were talking about making the playoffs get knocked out in the first round when you thought they were going to steamroll to the World Series?
I'd agree. To play devil's advocate, I don't think we thought any of those Dodger teams were as good as this one. But I agree with you. Those teams were great.
But they were usually favored over the other teams that they were facing. Right.
Something weird could happen, but to me, and if that happens, it's to your benefit as if you're the Yankees, because then you're not playing that Dodger team and you're playing a team that's not as good as them. They can get caught off guard, sure, but you're going to be playing a team that's not as good as them. To me, this is the year that you have to go all in. It's trade whatever prospects you gotta make Lombard Jr. available. If it's to go get a superstar player, make him available. Make Spencer Jones available. This is your time to strike, in my opinion. Especially, you gotta do everything you can to get a title while Judge is playing this way. You do.
Yeah. All right, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out the lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news, so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. One quick story. The other day, they hadn't released the lineup yet. One of the insiders texted me and asked, when's the lineup going up? And I'm like, oh, I haven't seen it yet. Not even 25 seconds later, I got the notification on my phone that the Yankees posted a story on Instagram, and I was like, let me see if this is the lineup. And there it was. So I sent it to him, and he thought that was pretty funny because it was like not even 30 seconds after that text.
Very quick response time we've got for you.
Yes. It felt good to be able to get him the lineup within about a minute and a half of that text. All right, coming up next, we're going to take a look around the league.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. And whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources from the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need, delivered fast from coast to coast. You need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for the trade pros that are looking for that extra edge, their free TradeMaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts available on every order. There's thousands of skilled professionals that are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the TradeMaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
So we have a new way for our YouTube viewers to leave us questions for Fan Mail Friday. If you go to our channel's page, click on the post tab, and you will see I put up a new message on Monday telling you that the deadline for Fan Mail Friday this week is Thursday at 5 p.m. So do it. I set the time at Thursday at 5 p.m. just to throw the curtain back a little bit, so I have time to make the graphics that you guys see on screen. It doesn't take that long, but I have to get the timing right, because sometimes we might still be reading a question, the graphic goes away, and then you see us. So I try to time that right.
Stacey deserves a lot of credit for that, because she figures it out. Because when it comes to making graphics and moving things around and stuff, I'm useless when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm probably like most of our listeners who couldn't imagine to figure that out. So we are very thankful for Stacey around these quarters, because I don't know what I would do without having that kind of stuff around. We haven't got to really going around the league yet this year and looking around what's going on. We've mentioned what teams are doing good and certainly what teams are doing bad, but we haven't really gotten to just checking out what's going on around everywhere. So let's do that, because it's nice to let people informed of what's going on. Because I do get the sense that a lot of people just follow the Yankees, which is totally fine. But if that's your team, that's all you care about. Baseball's an appointment sport. So if that's all you really care about throughout the year, that's totally understandable. So right now, as it stands, it is Monday evening. The Yankees have a 5.5 game lead on the AL East. The Blue Jays are behind them, followed by the Rays and the Red Sox. But Stacey, they're all like a game and a half to 2 games within each other. So they flip flop on the day by the series pretty much.
Oh yeah, because the Rays were a bit behind the Red Sox and the Jays. They were closer to the Orioles, and then they went on a bit of a run, and they actually leapfrogged both the Rays Jays and the Red Sox, and now they're all kind of going
so
back
they're
and forth.
and that I kind of expect that to be the case all year. They're probably going to just flip flop by the series all year. And again, the Orioles are now 22-36. They're still god awful. I wish I had a better explanation for all of you. I don't get it. And if I were an Oriole fan, I'd be livid beyond belief.
Yeah, I saw a stat that Charlie Morton has actually improved a lot in his starts, but then I also saw someone suggest that the Orioles trade him to a contender so he can help them out, and the Orioles will just start over again.
Not a terrible idea. Honestly, it's not. I mean, that's the piece they have to go make improvements, so I don't hate that. The AL Central. If you're following, I'm sure you've heard around baseball, the Tigers are awesome. Gleyber Torres has had a good year. Javi Baez has had a great year for them. And Tarek Skubal is Tarek Skubal. I mean, he's as good as it gets. I wouldn't sit here and say the Yankees should not be able to beat them in the postseason. I think the Yankees are a better all-around team, but they're not going to be a cakewalk either. The Tigers are 21-8 at home this year. So their home record's been really good. They're a plus 86 run differential. The Yankees are the best run differential in the American League at plus 98. But they're a really good team. They're 39-21. They lead that division by 6 games. The Guardians and Twins are behind them. And the Twins started the year off horrible and really heated up towards the start of May.
They had like a 13-game winning streak or something crazy like that, right?
So they needed that to be 7 games back. So like put that into perspective. The team that's upsetting in this division is Kansas City. I don't think anyone saw them being 31-29. They're very middle of the pack. And after last year, you thought they'd be a lot better. Right.
Well, they also didn't expect the Tigers to be doing as well as they're doing.
True.
Right.
And then you got the White Sox who are terrible again compared to what they were last year, but they're actually on the same pace they were on last year, but the Rockies are overshadowing them because the Rockies are all-time bad. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Just keep this number in your head, Stacey. The run differential for the White Sox, minus 52, which is god-awful, but just keep that in your head real quick. In the AL West, everyone's jumbled. The Mariners are good, not great. The Astros are good, not great. They're both a half game separated. The Rangers are 4 games back. Me and Stacey have both talked about how they could be a real scary team to meet in a postseason series. Angels are whatever kind of, right? They're middling. They're below 500, but they're probably going to stay that way all year. And the Athletics are awful. They're 23-37. They can't wait to get to Vegas.
Yeah.
To the National League. The Mets and Phillies have gone back and forth all year. I was expecting probably those teams will do that all year. The Mets have gotten great pitching this year out of their starters, which I don't think anyone expected. And Juan Soto's hitting 235. So if Yankee fans, if you're wondering what he's doing, the power numbers, although he's homered in the last 2 games, he's hitting 235. So that really needs to improve for the Mets. That is certainly not $60 million worth of hitting right there. The Nationals have had a great year. They're 28-31. They've really improved. And the Braves are 27-31 after their awful start they got off to. So the Braves are trying to catch up in the Marlins. Minus 79 run differential, Stacey. So we had the minus 51. We got the minus 79. Just keep those run differentials in your head real quick. The Cubs out of the Central been really good. 37-22. I think they've been one of the surprises in baseball, too, with the Tigers. The Cubs have been awesome. Pete Crow Armstrong has been one of the better players in all of baseball. That's an interesting storyline. The other storyline out of the NL Central, the St. Louis Cardinals, who everyone thought were kind of going to be rebuilding, restarting, all that, and they're going to trade Arenado. Not so fast, because the Cardinals are 33-26. They've been awesome this year, too. I don't think anyone expected that. And then the Brewers, who started the year off terrible, but are now playing great. They're on like an 8-game winning streak right now, too. So that's a team, too, that could be
they did well against the Phillies this weekend.
Yeah, they did. They swept the Phillies, actually.
Yeah.
The Reds are average, and the Pirates, who are terrible, 22-38. Skeens has had a great year. Their run differential, minus 58. So we're going through all the bad run differentials in baseball. Now to the last division, the NL West, the most competitive division in baseball. All of the top 3 teams are separated by 3 games. The Dodgers lead it at 36-23. The Padres are 33-24. They're 2 games back. The Giants are 33-26. They're 3 games back. All those teams have been awesome. The Diamondbacks, who I don't know if you saw yesterday's game or yesterday's news, Corbin Burns left in the 3rd inning with elbow tightness. So that's a concern. They're currently 8 games back. They've slipped under 500. Then you get to the Colorado Rockies, who I think are the story in this division. They're 9-50, Stacey. They're currently 27 games back in June, which is insane. They are 3-28 on the road this year. They haven't won a series yet. They've won back-to-back games once. this entire year. You heard all those run differentials I was going through, Stacey? The Rockies' run differential is minus 185.
I was going to guess 176. Okay.
It's unbelievably bad how bad their run differential is. They're going to be at minus 200 before the middle of this month in run differential. Just to keep that reference around, last year, Chicago White Sox, who were the worst statistical team of all time, didn't get to minus 200 until August 15th of last year. I mean, this Rockies team is one of the worst teams we've ever seen.
They're going to barely win 20 games. That's how bad they are. That is atrocious. In a 162-game season, I can't even imagine being that bad. I can't imagine how demoralizing it is for the team going out every day and having to play, knowing that you probably don't have a chance
at
all to beat anyone. I don't know how they get fans to go to the games. I mean, the fans are probably there for the other team too. But how good is it to be at a ballpark that's really nice when you're seeing a bad product on the field? You know what I mean? Like, you're spending all that money to see.
I think because in the summertime, a lot of people go to baseball games as like a social event. It's not really to go see a team play. It's just they go with their friends, have a drink. It's a nice summer night out. That's the only way they're drawing fans in. Yeah. They're embarrassing. And if I were Rob Manfred, I'd be having meetings constantly about what you can do to fix these kind of things, because this can't happen.
But you saw this coming from them, though. This pattern where they just get worse and worse and worse. Because I always reference this, but that trade deadline day a few years ago, when the Rockies had the chance to trade away Trevor Story, they had the perfect opportunity to do it, and they did nothing at the trade, absolutely nothing at the trade deadline. And poor Paul, who still hosts Locked On Rockies, was sitting there and just like, yeah, I don't have anything to talk about because my team didn't do anything. And you could see the future of the team not being great because ownership just doesn't care. They don't care.
It's sad because it's a good baseball town too, but yeah, the Major League Baseball has to start. I don't know what there is to do because other sports have figured it out that there's bad teams in other sports. There are. But I mean, look at the NBA. The Detroit Pistons 2 years ago were god-awful. They were just as bad as this. They were in a terrible stretch. They made the playoffs this year. They turned it around pretty quick. There's no way the Rockies could do that.
It's going to take them a long time. Yeah.
And by the way, with Rob Manfred's genius way of fixing tanking in baseball, the Rockies now, they're going to finish with the worst record in Major League Baseball. It's almost a guarantee at this point with how bad their start is. They're on pace to be 18-100. That could be their record. Think about that. Stacey, because of the way Rob Manfred changed up his baseball thing, drafting rules, the Colorado Rockies can't get the first overall pick this year in the draft.
Right.
They can't get it. So rebuilding has become much more difficult. There should be some sort of sanction or something going on because I don't know what no team has been this bad.
Now we're going to move to two teams who are actually trying this season. Coming up, we'll preview the Yankees 3-game set with the Cleveland Guardians next.
Have you ever checked your bank account and wondered where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's very easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over all of your finances. And Monarch Money, it's not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. So you can track all your accounts, your investing, your spending. It's all available in one place. So you can just stop managing your money and you can start building that wealth that you always want to build. And when I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. And now I budget smarter. I save more. I don't use it as much. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances. It tracks your spending and even plans for your long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is also smoother than ever. You can track those personal accounts, your shared accounts. You can set goals. You guys can stay on the same page with all the stress. And that is just super key whenever you're trying to manage your money back and forth. You can take control of all your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. So, Stacey, a good test for the Yankees going up against the Guardians. I think it'll be a teller. Will they return to the stadium, return to the East Coast for the rest of the year? They don't go back to the West Coast all year. The furthest west they'll go is to Houston. I believe, in August. So they do have a little bit of or maybe early September. But regardless, they have a little bit of a respite when it comes to travel. I will say, very weird that they went to the West Coast in a 3-week stretch twice and basically banged out both their West Coast trips in that amount of time.
Yeah, that's not usual. It's usually like a June trip and an August trip, or sometimes maybe very early September trip. Like they're usually separated by a couple of months. So that's just, it was, when I saw that on the schedule, I was like, who did this? Why?
Yeah.
Why would they go to the West Coast, come home for 2 series, and then go back to the West Coast all in
probably exhausting? I will say they did get out of it fairly unscathed, and to be able
when you
to
think about it, they went 4-2.
Yeah. Well, this one they did, but they were better on the other one, the previous one, and to get out of it the way they did, with also, again, surviving and being able to get out of it and now not having to have any of those games the rest of the year, probably better off for them and for us, because I hate going live at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's not enjoyable.
Yeah, it's rough for your young 27-year-old body to do that, right?
I don't know how I do it. Game 1 of the Guardian series will be on TBS. Tanner, is it BB or Bybee? I think it's Bybee.
Look at the rundown. I have the pronunciation there.
Oh, Bybee. I was trying to be fancy there, but I guess I didn't. I thought I should have looked. He's 4-5 with a 3.86 ERA. He'll take on Carlos Rodón, who's been unfortunately overshadowed by Max Fried, but he's 7-3 with a 2.60.
It's impressive what he's done, honestly.
Yeah, very.
He's really been incredible his last, how many starts are we up to now? Because he looked a little rough at the beginning, but he has looked great for at least a month at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to go over some of his numbers too, he's got 90 strikeouts already on the year, so he's well on pace for 200, a .94 WHIP, a 2.60 ERA, which is wild. How good is he? Look at the way that he started this year off.
Yeah,
and then to see his ERA the way it is now, I mean, he's been stellar. His strikeout totals to date in the last couple games, I'm just gonna read them off real quick. 10-8-5, 10-5, 7-8, 9-8-8. Really good high strikeout numbers. And Rodón is a strikeout guy. So when you see him putting up those high strikeout numbers, it means he's really feeling himself lately. So you got to be proud of what Carlos Rodón's done for the Yankees lately.
This is definitely the best he's looked since he came over to the Yankees.
100%.
Again, it's the beard. Hopefully the beard will do something with Austin Wells, because I noticed he's growing his beard.
Yeah, he's letting it grow in.
Yeah, so Game 2, Amazon Prime. It's a Wednesday night. That's usually what happens. Luis Ortiz, 2-6 with a 4.40 ERA against Clark Schmidt, who is 2-2 and now 3.95. He's below a 4.
And let's see if he can build off the last start, which he looked really good in. So we'll see what he can do there. The Amazon Prime games are interesting. I feel like a lot of people miss the games because of that, because of the streaming. And it does make it more complicated if you're one of the people who flips between sports. Having to go back and forth, it is a little annoying when it comes to the streaming services. I'll give it that.
Also, that line down the middle that keeps happening while you're watching Prime on your TV.
It's not just you. It's not just you.
I'm glad to know that it's not just us, because it's really fresh every week. Just we have to like refresh, and then the line goes away, and then when the commercials happen, the line comes back. Like, do we? It's like the old days. Do we write to people? Like, how do we let them know that this is what's happening on the TV? Yeah.
And then Game 3 will be on Slade Ciccone. Ciccone, whatever. I got it wrong. 1-1 with a 5.28 ERA. He'll go up against Max Fried, who looks to avenge himself after his Dodgers start. He's 7-1 with a 1.92 ERA. Look for Fried to have a nice bounce back.
Yeah, so the Yankees lost 2 out of 3 to the Guardians in Cleveland in April. So we'll see how this series goes. But they're at home. You have Rodón and Fried bookending the 3-game series. Not that the Guardians aren't bad. It's just out of these matchups, it looks like the Yankees have the upper hand, but we'll see what happens. You never know. Yeah.
In other news too, Randy Johnson is getting his number retired by the Mariners. A little too late, right? Didn't Randy Johnson retire like almost 20 years ago now?
It's kind of strange. No, he was with the Yankees 20 years ago.
That's true, actually. Wow.
Yeah, he pitched for a while. He was still in the league. When did he finally retire? Was it like
it's got to be like 2008 or 9?
9 or 10, something like that. Like crazy. Ichiro was also that number So that's going to be 2 51s retired
Yeah, true.
by the Mariners. So it's going to be next.
Late.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. It's going to be next year. The Mariners just announced that they're doing it. They don't know when because the 2026 schedule has not been released yet. So they're going to figure out a date then. But someone, I think it was Andrew Mearns from Pinstripe Alley, was like, everyone jokes about the Yankees retiring 8 for Yogi Berra and Bill Dickey, but hey, here you go. Now the Mariners are retiring 51 for Ichiro and Randy Johnson. And I mean, of course they should, because Randy Johnson was an amazing Mariner.
Well, this should have been done way beforehand, but yeah.
And now he has a tremendous career as a photographer.
Yeah, he's a really good photographer, actually.
Also, Ken Griffey Jr. is a good photographer. Like, some of these guys have had their
really
second careers, it's interesting. And photography is not that easy because it's not just taking pictures. You have to get the lighting right. You have to get certain things. Like, you really have to kind of study to do it. And I've seen some of Randy Johnson's pictures. They're actually pretty impressive. So
I've always wanted to get into it, but it's very complicated.
Yeah, like it's a lot more complicated than you think. I mean, people actually take classes in college, like college courses, to learn photography. It's not anything that, I mean, some people are actually talented because they teach themselves how to do it. But yeah, like you got to get the lighting right and everything. But I think it's interesting that they're doing sports photography too, and different sports than what they play.
Randy Johnson is often at Toronto, and he often he used to photograph the rock band Rush. He's really good friends with Geddy Lee, so he used to photograph them a lot too.
Yeah. And that's not easy either.
No.
Taking pictures of concerts and
especially
stuff.
Concerts, because the lighting is everything.
Yeah. But good for him, finally getting his number retired. It does seem long overdue, but they're doing it, and that's good. I mean, he's fine. He's a Hall of Famer, so it's like
he'll be fine.
He'll be fine. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you tomorrow.